government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Buying your electricity from the big energy companies is now the most expensive way to power your home. In fact, the average electricity bill in Australia has more than doubled in the last 15 years, but not for the ones who went solar. Unlike your electricity bill, the price of solar has actually come down, and there's also government rebates available. So what are you waiting for? Join the 2 million households already saving hundreds of dollars every year. See how much your roof could be making you at solarpowerco.com.au. Go solar and get $500 cash back with the Solar Power Co, Australia's most trusted solar brand. solarpowerco.com.au.
You're listening to the State of Our Football Nation on FNR. Another episode of SUFN, or State of Our Football Nation as we call it on FNR. George Donikian along with Josh Parish, who has that enormously big microphone to control. And our special guest, the very first of three, is the man at the Western Sydney Wanderers, namely Carl Robinson. Carl, welcome.
Hi, George. How are you doing?
While you and I were waiting to come on, as Josh was running all the controls, you and I were just touched on the incredible transfer window we've just seen close in the EPL and, of course, in Europe. And it was I think the transfer window that just kept on giving to the absolute last moment, wasn't it?
It does. Every transfer window, there's big drama with it, and it seems to be the best one. Obviously, clearly, this was the best one with Messi and Ronaldo both moving, which has very rarely happened. Messi never, Ronaldo once or twice, but many years ago. So when big names move, it has a knock-on effect, and the clubs below, the so-called lesser big clubs, fall into a little jigsaw, and that's certainly what happened.
Wow. What's been the big win for you? Was it the affirmation of watching Chelsea accumulate some key pieces? Was it the fact that City did not get Harry Kane? Or was it a case that Manchester United did see the arrival of the one and only number 7? But will he wear the 7?
Yeah, well, listen, each of the 4 or 5 top clubs that you speak about there, start with Liverpool. Liverpool have not made any signings, but what they've done is they've stuck by their players who've been successful over the last 2 years, and they've signed them to long-term contracts. And I think that's very important from the club. They know the Van Dijks, the Allisons, the Hendersons, the Robertsons. They know the culture. They know what it's like to win. I think it's a good core group of players. Manchester United have just pulled a rabbit out of a hat, signing Ronaldo. I think they used Man City as a sort of, what can you say?
Stalking horse.
Yeah, they did. I thought they were a bit naughty, and by all accounts, they were never in the mix. I think that frustrated Pep. Pep went after Harry Kane. Tottenham didn't want to do any business whatsoever because we know what Daniel Levy's like. He's a very shrewd businessman and very firm. So Man City obviously will be disappointed, no doubt, as a fan, but they've got enough players anyway. They've got 50 million defenders sitting on their bench. They've got centre forwards who don't play. Jesus, Riyad Mahrez, they're not playing. So they're very, very well stacked. But Chelsea's the interesting one. Since Thomas Tuchel came in last year, exceptional coach, really, really talented, very organised, very structured, and knows how to get the best out of his team. It's a little bit of a different dynamic rather than Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard went Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi. He went Tammy Abraham. He tried to introduce all the English boys. Tuchel's gone in there now. Tammy's gone out. Kurt Zuma's gone out. There's a number of boys, Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're talking about possibly going out at the last minute. They decided and changed their mind. So I think he's gone more experienced because once you win the Champions League, and that's what they did last year, the expectation is next year to win the Champions League. And he probably looked at it and thought, we don't want to be a team that goes out in the quarterfinal stage. We want to be a team that challenges for the Premiership. So they're going to recruit and get stronger. And that's certainly what they did with the boys Sal.
Carl, what have you learned from it? What do you draw from that sort of movement, those sorts of games, that sort of posturing, and that very select and smart dealing that's done by those top clubs that you touched on?
Well, there's an art to it. And again, the teams that we mentioned, you have a different philosophy and infrastructure. Some managers have a big say in the recruitment. Some clubs give the managers no say in the recruitment. So it's dependent on the club. The big managers, the Guardiolas, the Klopps, the Tuchels, I think they have a real firm say in who they want to bring. Obviously, numbers talk. You talk about the financial fair play. So everyone's working in the realm of that. So you're unable to break the rules because it's not worth it. So you try and test the boundaries all you can. Unfortunately, sometimes you need to move, to obtain. And that's what's happened with Chelsea. They've let Tammy Abraham go. They've let Kurt Zuma go. They've got 60-odd million, 70 million in the bank. And they've decided to go a different direction with the boy Saul. So, it's a strategic plan. Obviously, everyone needs to be on the same page, because if not, it's the start of a disaster. Because if a manager wants a player, the club doesn't want to give him the player. It's the beginning of the end, no doubt. They need to be on the same page. But each club has their own philosophy of way of dealing with it. Some go young. Man United, they have a background. They signed Ibrahimovic. They signed Cavani. Now they've signed Ronaldo. They're not afraid to go and sign an old centre forward and try and get the maximum out of him, because Cavani...
I still haven't recovered from Zlatan.
Well, listen, Zlatan played in Major League Soccer, and he was the best player in Major League Soccer at 38, scoring 25, 30 goals. He's gone back and he's been the best player, or one of the best players, with AC Milan, and he's still going strong. So, age is just a number for certain players. I think Ronaldo's exactly the same. Man City won't go and sign a 35-year-old, and I was very surprised originally when they were linked to Ronaldo. What they will do is they will reward their stalwarts who've been at the club for a number of years, the Vincent Kompanies. Now it's the Fernandinhos, and they will reward them because they are club legends. David Silvas.
They give him a statue too. Now, we can't do statues in Australia, but we've got an exciting new era in football about to unveil itself. We have a brand new television partner that really is exciting us by the fact being able to put all the properties that belong to Football Australia and to the new APL, the Australian Professional Leagues. And it's saying, here you go. We're going to give you a chance to not only see the teams that matter, but to follow the players. And they're going to do it in a way that we haven't seen for quite some time. Are you excited by that?
I am. And I think it's paramount. We know we're a growing league. I know that there's, if you look back 20 years and people talk about the golden generation, because there's a lot of players that went abroad and were successful abroad, and they want to try and follow that. Well, as a country, a football country, and we know there's other sports over here in Australia. I've been in North America where there's ice hockey, there's American football, there's NBA basketball, is NFL, so you're competing with other sports. But what you need to do is make the best out of what you've got and actually show people on the platform what you're all about. Get to know players. People don't know. All they see is a Saturday game, and they see players for what they do on a pitch for 90 minutes. But there's some certainly really good characters. It's the same with managers. Managers are very shut off sometimes. They don't want to let you inside in their mind, because they see they have to have this aura about them, and they try and be tunnel vision. But the reality is, the only way you're going to sell this game over here is if I let you in and I show you my methods, I show you the way I work, I show you my tactical approach, I show you when I'm mad, I show you how my man management skills are. So you have to be open with that. Yes, no one will agree. Not everyone will agree with it. But we're a growing league. We need to develop, we need to sell, we need to get players in through our academies, we need to get them into the first team and in the A-League, and we need to sell them. Because if we do that, then we won't lose as many youngsters as what we're losing.
Fantastic stuff. You've got some exciting new recruits. You went to Saudi Arabia and picked up a couple. One's on loan and one's here for a couple of years. Both very, very special players in their own right.
Yes, part of my core recruitment was looking at Australians. We are in a current COVID climate, pandemic, and the world is a strange place at the moment. We had some foreign players last year that were dealing with some family issues, family members weren't allowed to come and visit. They weren't allowed to go home because of the visas and the exemption. So, you know, who knows how long that's going to be. You know, hopefully, I think Gladys is doing a great job here in New South Wales and, you know, fully supportive of that. But hopefully the borders open soon when everyone's health, you know, and safety at bare minimum. But I looked at it and I thought, right, how can I make my recruitment pay off to the maximum? So I identified all the Australians that were playing abroad. You know, some of them don't want to come back. They've got no interest. Some of them were in certain different countries, as you call it. You mentioned Saudi Arabia, that haven't seen their family for a number of years, missed their family, would like to play in the A-League, see the plans and the infrastructure that now is in place here in the A-League and Australian football, and want to be part of that. Because as you get older as a player, you've got to start thinking about what you're going to do when you retire. Because too many players just think about it, the half a season to go or the month before they decide to retire, and suddenly ex-players, too many of them, suddenly think, I can be a coach. But coaching is hard. It needs work. It's like any other living in the game. You need to put the hours in. You need to put the work in. You need to learn. You need to study. You need to review. And I say to all players, be prepared. When you turn 30, know what you're going to do when you're finished. If you don't want to coach, that's fine. Go and be an analyst. But the boys on TV, they are specialists at what they do. They don't just wing it. It's a case of they need to study and learn. So I try and actually give them a guideline when they're a little bit older. And the two boys I got from Saudi Arabia were easy because I gave them my plan of what I want to do with this football club. We've got a fantastic infrastructure. Everyone knows we've got a great training facility. We've got a fantastic owner, a group of owners. Our chairman is very much invested in developing the youth and giving the young players the opportunity to play. What I tried to do is I tried to create or open pathways within the first team. But I also understand it's a business. We're in professional sports and I need to win. So you have to be competitive. Results driven. I needed to bring in players that I know could help me win. And the two players from Saudi Arabia certainly have got a background of winning. They've got experience and they know what it's like to succeed and also be under pressure.
And one's a local. One's a Blacktown boy who knows the Western suburbs like very few people. Can you imagine?
Well, if you look at a number of the recruits I brought in, and I did this because, you know, I've been very lucky to be in Western Sydney for the last 9-10 months, and there is a special feel about the place. And until you're here and you actually speak to the locals and speak to the people, the supporters, because the supporters are the most important people in the football club, and the values, the core values that they have, they're very much the same, and they are hard work. Fight till the end, roll your sleeves up, never say die attitude. No one believes in them. So my recruitment was, are there any players around that are from this area? I don't need to sell it to them how important this football club in this area and these supporters are. They understand. Rami Najarine, Dimi Petratos, Terry Antonis, they understand what it's about. And you need them because professional sports isn't rosy all the time. You know, it is up and down, as we know, but there's nothing better than playing for your local team, believe me.
And you've brought yourself a pretty smart cookie from overseas. He played for Wellington last year. He has a real nose and an eye for goals. You know who I'm talking about, the Israeli.
Tomer Hemed, yes. Yeah. It was, you know, I knew about Tomer when I first come over here. When I first come over here to Newcastle. All right, Tomer was at Brighton. He went to Real Mallorca, then he went to Charlton in the Championship on loan. And I knew he was looking at something different. I knew the manager at Charlton. I was at Newcastle. So he was looking at, obviously, I think when players are in Europe, they always look at Major League Soccer or they look at the A-League because of their lifestyle as well as the football. What I will say over here and in Major League Soccer, football's very hard. You know, people don't realize how good the standard is until they come over. What they probably don't get as regular as French teams or Belgium teams or Spanish teams is the opportunity to go and play in Europe. So what I try and create here is an environment where it's a learning environment. My job is a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm also a man manager. I'm also a father. So I understand that the mental side of it is very important as well. When Tomer was at Wellington last year, he showed his worth. He scored a number of goals. And at the end of the season, when his contract was up, he made it aware to me that he wanted to stay in the Sydney area. He liked, obviously, the lifestyle. Him and his family were very happy. And he ideally wanted to stay around if the opportunity arose. And when I spoke to him, super professional guy, has got a tradition of being successful, knows what the professional is like. And we've certainly got a number of key young players that will certainly learn from players like Tom Hennon.
Wow. How much disruption to the preparations for FFA Cup and early season? We're inside now the last month, are we not? Before the season starts, last month and a half?
We are, but you won't hear me complain about the situation, because I look at the news, 7 News every day, and I realise what's going on. You know, sometimes you've got to be grateful for what you have and understand it. Sure. So, yes, we're professional sports people and professional managers, but sometimes you've got to take a step back and think of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that we're all on the same page. We're all healthy and safe, and we move in the right direction as a collective. So we are training with a limited group, you know, but that's nothing we can change about that, and we're not trying to. A number of the players are in lockdown areas, so we fully respect the rules, and they will stay there until things start opening up. What they have been given is individual programs. It's important I check in with them every couple of days for their mental well-being as well, because it's not nice not being part of a team when 15 of the team are together. But what it does as well, it allows me an opportunity to look at 3 or 4 younger players within the academy. You know, I work closely with Ian Crook, who's the academy manager, director, and he is forever talking about how good these young players are. And now I get a chance to look at them, and my history suggests I'm not afraid to throw young players in if I feel they're good enough. And I did it last year, and I'll continue to do it again this year.
Josh?
What's tantalising for me, Carl, is the midfield. I mean, on paper, looks like, if not the best, one of the best midfields that the A-League's ever assembled. I mean, Steven Ugarkovic and Terry Antonis, 2 of the smartest players in sort of build-up play, and then you got Dimi Petratos ahead of them, who, in terms of his final ball, statistically ranks up there with the very best players to have graced the competition in recent years. They're all Western Sydney boys, so on paper, you should be dominating these games.
That's why he's smiling. Look,
no pressure.
And, I got asked that the other day. They said, surely you've got the best midfield. And I said, listen, we are competitive in the midfield area. What I will say as well, with Terry and Stevie and Dimmy, obviously all local boys, understand what the club is about, what the area is about. You know, all of their family, friends are supporters of the football club as well, which is important. But we've also got, you know, a fantastic young player in Keanu Bacchus, who played the most games for me in midfield, a terrific young player who I think will go to Europe one day and has the ability to do that. We've also got Jimmy Troisi, who can play in that floating, roaming role, depending on what we do tactically. So, yes, we were very strong in midfield, but so are other teams. You know, we weren't as strong as what we needed to be last year because we ended up outside the playoffs. We weren't able to try and win this thing. You know, we've got to set expectations. The expectations that our football club are, we don't want to finish 6th. We don't want to finish 5th. We want to try and win it. And if we set ourselves for that and we fall a little bit short, at least we've tried at our maximum with the best players possible to try and reach our main target. And that is our main target this year.
And you mentioned George, you mentioned the European interest in Keanu Bacchus, and there's always rumours about him. I won't ask you about him specifically, but how important is it for A-League clubs to start picking up transfer fees for the talents that they've developed? Because there's a big frustration among fans in the league, and I'm sure it extends to the clubs as well, that so many players end up leaving on frees or for pretty much pittance.
Yeah, well, listen, we could talk for an hour about the development side of football here in Australia, because, you know, it's like your hand and your foot, isn't it? You've got to all be on the same page, all right? You've got to all work together. You know, we talk about these young players. Are they getting given a chance? And last year, I think a lot of managers gave the youth the chance, which was very important. You know, and that needs to continue. You know, you can't go away from that, all right? There are no rules in place at the moment that say you need a certain amount of young players. It is down to the manager's discretion. But unfortunately, what tends to happen with managers, especially new managers that go into jobs, is their first, thought is to win. They think what is ready now. They are not thinking of development. They are not thinking about, in a year's time, I might be able to get $500,000, $1 million for a player. They are thinking, if I don't win in the first 6 games, I might be out of a job. So that's the one factor. Also, the second factor is if players aren't playing in the A-League, they need a platform to play. They can't play 10, 12 games, train 2 or 3 times a week. We are trying to we're a professional sport here. We're a professional environment. We need a second division. We need whether it's an under-21 league, an under-23 league. These players need to play 30 games. They need to understand what it's like that when they do break into the A-League, and if we're able to establish this platform, I know Graham Arnold is doing his utmost best to try and put these building blocks in place. If we put that in place and we all commit to it and we all understand that it's not about any individual, it's not about any coach, it's about these young players that get given the opportunity and the platform to, one, learn, the opportunity to play. Coaches develop them, because coaches come and go. We all know that. And it's not about them, it's about the players. Then over time, it's not going to happen overnight, but over 3, 4, 5, 6 years, if we all stick to that plan, you'll get rewards, you'll get success. You won't get these young players wanting to go to Europe at 15, 16, 17, because the opportunities are there for them to play, whether it's in the second division, in the A-League, first team group, and it's regular minutes. Because for a fact, if you are a 15, 16, 17-year-old and you play first team football, all European clubs, you're on the radar. It's a known fact that once they play, I had it in Vancouver. Alphonso Davies was 15 years of age when I threw him in, and people said to me, "You're crazy. He's still at school. He's a boy." 6 Premiership teams within the first 6 months contacted me about what's this 15-year-old kid doing playing in Major League Soccer. So that is fact, and that's what we all need to do. We all need to embrace it. We all need to get together. It's not about any individual person. It's about the future of the youth here in Australia.
Well said. One of the things we do at FNR is showcase and promote the game at all the levels, whether it's the women's game, the men's game, the youth, and we're hopefully looking forward to promoting as much of the second division discussion as possible, because as you touched on, it's not good enough to play 10, 15 games and that's a season. As we've seen with young Marco Tilio last year, he got a chance to play senior football. And did he take advantage of it?
Well, yes, he certainly did. He was exceptional. And, see, people have views on young players, and, my firm view on young players is just because they don't get given a chance at one club does not mean they are not a good player. All right. You might have Sydney have got an exceptional team. They obviously are very strong. Yes, they lost in the final. Prior to that, they were the winners for the last 2 years. Their structure is probably more older orientated than youth development, younger orientated. So Marco wanted a chance. He went to Melbourne. The first part of the season, he was a little bit frustrated, no doubt, because he wasn't getting regular minutes. But boy, did the kid show what he could do, especially in the last 10 games. And now, obviously, with the addition of Matthew Leckie, they're stronger again. So he gets back to resetting, start of the season. He has to fight for his place again. Young players learn when they're in and out the team. All right. But what's important is the man management side. So, he's one example. There are a number of examples throughout the A-League. Just because players move doesn't mean the club doesn't like them. It's just a case of sometimes they get itchy feet as a young player. They want more minutes, and they believe that sometimes they'll get more minutes at other clubs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Carl, let's make this a regular occurrence on FNR. We'd love to hear you, and more importantly, to showcase and support Western Sydney Wanderers as we support each and every club in the competition.
Whenever you need me, guys.
Thank you very much. Carl Robinson, Western Sydney Wanderers have a big season, and he's picked some very shrewd cats to come and play for his team. Let's support them. Let's watch them. And both Josh and I will be very keen to see them progress. Josh especially, Carl, because he also has a refereeing background, and he gets very, very iffy when he hears those VAR calls not given as they should. Anyway, all the very
Wanderers
best.
haven't been so lucky with VAR in recent years, Josh. But that's a topic for another day.
I wasn't going to say anything until he left us. Carl, thank you for joining us again and giving us your time.
Thanks, guys.
All the very best. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, an opportunity to cross the Tasman via Zoom to catch up with a smart young woman who's just signed on for Melbourne City. She's a Kiwi international, and her name is Hannah Wilkinson.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Buying your electricity from the big energy companies is now the most expensive way to power your home. In fact, the average electricity bill in Australia has more than doubled in the last 15 years, but not for the ones who went solar. Unlike your electricity bill, the price of solar has actually come down, and there's also government rebates available. So what are you waiting for? Join the 2 million households already saving hundreds of dollars every year. See how much your roof could be making you at solarpowerco.com.au. Go solar and get $500 cash back with the Solar Power Co, Australia's most trusted solar brand. solarpowerco.com.au.
You're listening to the State of Our Football Nation on FNR. State of Our Football Nation on FNR. George Donikian, Josh Parish, and another special guest joining us via Zoom, and it's a little bit later in the evening. We're heading to New Zealand, North Island, South Island. Where are you, Hannah?
Yeah, North Island in Whangarei. So
okay, Hannah Wilkinson, Kiwi international. More importantly, brand new member of Melbourne City's W League side. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. So excited.
Now, you've had a fantastic career thus far, but can I just remind everybody, you are at your prime. You're a striker. It takes a little while to get going, but you've got all the smarts and you've got all the angles and you know exactly where you need to be to best those defences. No pressure, Hannah.
I know.
We want to see some goals.
Yeah, no, of course, and I think it's an exciting, time. I've been through my fair share of injuries, and I think I'm kind of like got over those, and I'm really moving into hopefully my prime. And I think like this is the perfect team to come into and hopefully get some success.
Now, you've had an opportunity to travel the world, play the game that you love. You've 3 Olympics, 2 World Cups. You've done okay.
Yeah, I've got a lot of major tournaments on my resume, and that's always something that's awesome. I think my goal from a very early age was to represent my country, and I've done that, and that's been awesome, and I'll continue to do that. So. Well,
you've got a very exciting next couple of years, Hannah, because have we mentioned that yet? There's a Women's World Cup coming down under in under 2 years.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've just been super excited about ever since it was announced. I heard it live when they called that that New Zealand Australia had won the bid, and it was me and a couple of other teammates. We were just absolutely ecstatic, and it was just like, that is something that is going to be so amazing. There's
another New Zealand international that you will meet if you haven't met her already. Young Stoddy, and I'm very excited to hear that she's back healthy and firing and keen very much to come back to Melbourne City. We're thrilled to have her. She's been an absolute out-and-out champion, and I bet too that she has aspirations to be in Auckland or in is it Palmerston? Where's the first game being played for the World Cup?
I think it is in Auckland at Eden Park.
Yeah. At Eden Park, that's right. Yes. I try and keep Eden Park out of my mind because as an old Sydney boy, I have not very good memories of Eden Park. I was a Randwick follower. My great team was the Galloping Greens, and whenever they played the All Blacks, it was not a good thing. And they played at Eden Park, so I try and dismiss and delete it from my memory bank. Mind you, a long time ago, there was a young 5'8" who played for Randwick and he played for Australia, the Wallabies. His name was Kenny Wright. And the reason I mention him is because he was a member and led the Australian backline that actually beat the All Blacks at Eden Park. And that was the last time we won in the mid-'80s. So that's almost history. Yeah,
Ancient history, George, I think.
Ancient. Don't do that.
I don't know about that.
So talk to us, Hannah. Have you had a chance to meet some of the girls yet? In terms of you know them on the pitch, off the pitch?
Yeah, well, Stoddy, she's a teammate of mine. We've played together on the Ferns. So, she's a terrific player. She's actually someone, we really missed her in the Olympics in Tokyo. She was definitely missed in those games. She's such a crucial player for us. She's like absolutely outstanding.
Just will not quit.
Amazing.
She does not quit.
No, she doesn't. She's incredible and an awesome person as well.
So you spent some time, I think your last competition was in Germany. You were playing in the Bundesliga, playing for Duisburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I remember Duisburg being a car. I didn't realize it was a football club. No, actually, no, I do know that. What was it like playing overseas? And of course, playing in some of the biggest competitions in Europe?
I mean, that was a very short sort of period. I was only over there for like 6 months or so. It was just to get some I wanted a challenge, and that was definitely a challenge. We didn't do too great as a team, like in the table, we weren't so good, but I played 90 minutes every game. I managed to score, and the Bundesliga was a really awesome challenge for me because that was like the top of the top, like every game in and out, it was good. And the kind of training schedule in Germany, they push you very, very hard, and so that was something that I really needed, and I think it definitely improved me as a player. Sure.
How many sessions a day in Germany?
Oh,
how many training sessions?
They love to hit you with like a double day every now and again. But like when we first got there, what happened was we had a COVID disruption, and then we had a weather disruption because it snowed for like 2 weeks straight, which is unheard of in Duisburg apparently. So we were actually doing these like gym circuits for 2 weeks straight, and I got very good at doing gym circuits, but it killed me because they make us do all of this and then run because we couldn't train.
Yeah.
They really love to build you into an athlete over there and really push you really, really hard. But, definitely it's almost like going into the Marines. I was like, this is wild.
So not a ball in sight for a while then?
Not for a while, no. But, once we got out there with the ball, it was awesome, really. It was really good. I had some the league was really, really challenging. It was very, very good for my career for sure.
When are we likely to see you arrive in Australia to get ready for the new W League season?
Hopefully like mid-September, so hopefully soon, but I think it is contingent on this whole COVID thing. I think it's something to do with the government has to, I don't know. I got to get let in there. So your people at government level have got to talk to our people at government level, and on it goes.
Figure it out.
Yeah. But quite seriously, it's an exciting time. We have some fantastic competition coming around the corner. The W League over the last few years, in the first few years, was just tremendous. We want it to be longer. We want the competition to be an even better test for each and every player. What have you heard about the W League?
I have heard that, there is a lot of desire for it to be longer, because that's kind of been one thing that's made me hesitant sometimes at not coming to play here or in the W League, because it is quite short. And so obviously that would be ideal for it to be extended longer. I've heard it's fantastic things about the league. Like, some of the games are streamed in New Zealand, and so my parents sometimes watch a lot of those games, and they're saying like, it's so cool to see that and see women's football in general just to be shown in our side of the world, because it is such a global sport, and we don't really get much football action, men's or women's overall.
Well, you'll be very excited to hear that the new television contract means that there will be each and every game showcased on the 10 network and on Paramount Plus, the streaming platform throughout Australia. And I believe it'll be through New Zealand too. So that's exciting times for your family and everyone else who knows Hannah Wilkinson and has followed her career. What was the best spot to play your football? Because you've played in a few countries around the world.
Yeah. I went to college very early on in my career, and that was for sure like one of the best decisions I ever made. I loved it there. It built me. They're similar to Germany. They like to really push you in America, like in that collegiate system as an athlete, and get you into such terrific shape. And it's just so well invested over there. Everyone is so obsessed with women's soccer, they call it. And so that was all like such a great stepping stone for me into before professional. I've been to Sweden after that, and that was definitely a challenge for me, very challenging league. And then I went to Portugal, and that was just such a completely different style of play. It was quite shocking to me. I'm not that kind of player at all. I'm not very technical. So that was really good for my type of game. I think I expanded my, the way that I play. Yeah, exactly. So everywhere I've been has been unique in its own kind of way.
Can I just give you a glimpse about the W League in Australia? We don't have any snow.
That's a good start.
Yeah, it's a very good start. And in fact, the only place we have snow, no one can go to at the moment because they're all in lockdown.
Oh, no. Wait, where is that?
Places like Bulla, places like Perisher, places like Hotham.
Right.
They've had great short season of snow, but unfortunately it coincided with lockdowns across the states, and which meant that legally you couldn't travel to any of those areas.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Hannah,
which compromised a few people.
More than the ski weather, I think it's the surfing that interests you, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to the right place, I think. Hopefully.
Why on earth are you coming?
Maybe not Melbourne.
New South Wales would have been better, or Bells in Victoria.
We get some big surf in Victoria. It's just not very warm.
Not
New
Zealand.
Not South Melbourne though, boys and girls.
Very much Bayside.
So what's the thing you're looking forward to the most? To catching up and meeting the team?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to kind of get straight into some training. Like, it's frustrating. I've just come back from Tokyo, been 2 weeks locked down in a hotel for the second time. It's driving me nuts. And then I get 1 day of freedom, and then New Zealand is straight into level 4 lockdown again. And so to be honest, I'm just itching to get into some training, and definitely to train with Melbourne for sure and get used to those girls.
Well, Melbourne City's quite a storied W League program, great facilities, such a history of title success as well. I don't know, if the reputation precedes it if you haven't been involved with the W League before, though.
No, I haven't, because every time I've kind of sometimes I've played in leagues where it doesn't allow you to play. Like the season, for example, Portugal or Germany, you only have a small kind of break over that Christmas period. And so it's more like leagues like the NWSL and Sweden that allow you to have that off-season period is when the W League is. And so anytime that off-season period has happened, I've just wanted to be home with my family, because I spend so much time overseas that I just have to get home and relax. So this is just perfect timing.
So given that, when Melbourne City made contact with you, do you immediately know all there is to know about the program and the players that have been through there? Have you been following the W League from afar, or is this quite a new experience for you?
I followed it a little bit. I wouldn't say very closely. I think the main connection that I have with Melbourne is Stoddy, Rebecca Slot, because she's played there for so long, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. So I was just as soon as Rado kind of reached out to me, I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be really cool.
So Rado reached out, huh?
Yeah, Stoddy kind of helped me as well, get that connection going, and just had a conversation with him, and just the rest is history.
Well, it is, and we look forward to not only hearing but seeing you in the flesh. We're very keen to get you in the studio when opportunity allows. But more importantly, they've got a brand new base. There's an awful lot of development going on as we speak at Casey Fields. The club is looking to invest another $20 million in that base, and they've just decommissioned their last setup at what was La Trobe University. So exciting times, and as we know, no pressure. We just want we want success. That's all.
That's good. I want success too. So we're on the same page.
So without trying to embarrass you too much, before we let you go, Hannah, I wanted to ask
No initiation. There is no initiation here.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
sometimes initiation comes in the form of singing a song in front of the squad. I'm not sure if they do that in the Melbourne City W League group, but I think you might be uniquely prepared for that kind of challenge.
I don't know. I mean, maybe if I had a guitar on me. I don't have one
We
here,
have
so
a
don't make me
recorded
do it.
artist with us, George. I don't know if you're aware, but Hannah's got a couple of songs on Spotify. Is that true?
Is this true?
Yeah, I did. I did a little bit. Yeah, a while
you
ago.
snuck-
Please
you
don't make me
snuck-
do it now.
You snuck
No,
that
no.
right under our guard, just when we weren't even thinking about it.
Um,
Clearly, that referee over there, Josh, does his homework. He's done great.
Eye for detail.
Not only eye for detail. When are we going to get an offering from? Clearly, you'll have to be when you arrive down under, huh?
A musical offering, you mean?
I think so.
We have a studio. We're not in it at the moment. We're not allowed to be. But once we get out of lockdown,
Yeah, well,
we're all yours if you feel like recording another track.
I'll definitely. I'll have a bit of a rehearse and see what I can do.
And Stoddy can do harmonies. It's no problem.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Hannah Wilkinson, it's been a delight catching up with you. Welcome to
Cool.
Melbourne City. We can't wait until you get here. We wish you continued success. It's been an exciting journey thus far, but a new W League season is almost upon us. So get yourself sorted and get down under, and we'll keep the snowballs away and everything else. All right?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Hannah Wilkinson, the new striker for the W League side for Melbourne City, as you can tell. Very talented woman. She's been traveling all around the world, and she keeps everything under her bushel, doesn't tell anybody too much. But we've been thrilled to have her on board, and we want to see much, much more of her on and off the pitch. Thank you very much to Hannah. And coming up next, an opportunity to talk to Jamie Harnwell, who's the CFO, the Chief Football Officer at Football West in WA.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Buying your electricity from the big energy companies is now the most expensive way to power your home. In fact, the average electricity bill in Australia has more than doubled in the last 15 years, but not for the ones who went solar. Unlike your electricity bill, the price of solar has actually come down, and there's also government rebates available. So what are you waiting for? Join the 2 million households already saving hundreds of dollars every year. See how much your roof could be making you at solarpowerco.com.au. Go solar and get $500 cash back with the Solar Power Co, Australia's most trusted solar brand. solarpowerco.com.au.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
You're listening to the State of Our Football Nation on FNR.
We started State of Our Football Nation by catching up with the Western Sydney Wanderers manager come coach, Carl Robinson. Then, of course, we went via Zoom to New Zealand to catch up with the new striker for the Melbourne City W League team. Her name is, of course, Hannah Wilkinson. And now we're heading via Zoom once again. Been a very busy hour. And we're going to catch up with the Chief Football Officer, I like that, CFO, at Football West. His name is Jamie Harnwell. Mate, great to have you on board. Thrilled to bits to know that there is a place in Australia where the game is actually still being played. And in fact, some people are actually thriving.
Yes, certainly. It's, we've been very lucky and fortunate here in Western Australia. We are an island within an island, if you like, but we're out, we're playing football.
Just don't tell Mark McGowan, okay? He might just pull the plug and decide to separate.
I think plenty of people would probably back him in this at the moment. We're very fortunate. We're coming into finals now at the moment. We don't have restrictions. We've had to endure some very short lockdowns in comparison to the rest of the country. But certainly for sport, for football, we're very lucky and looking forward to finishing the season in the next couple of weeks, touch wood, without any further interruptions.
We'll talk about the game shortly. I want to hear about some of the infrastructure. We're hearing that some good things have been happening behind the scenes, some even more exciting things happening with a view to a Women's World Cup and some terrific opportunities coming up. Are you right across all this? Are you excited as well?
Oh, look, we can't wait. There's been some really big announcements. I think the state government, certainly, and the federal government are really recognising the power of football. We've got our state football centre being built, which is a $32 million project out in Queen's Park, just to the east of the city. That's joint funded by the state and the Commonwealth. And obviously, there was just recently announcement to the upgrades of HBF Park in line with the FIFA Women's World Cup, and can't wait for that venue to improve even further and showcase Perth to the world.
Jamie, with these added developments to the infrastructure in those key venues, what will it mean? What will we see when they're complete?
Oh, look, the State Football Centre will be a high-performance centre that will also be able to cater for community. So when we have the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea, rather than being training at the Wacker at the cricket ground, they'll be training at the State Football Centre. That revenue will be able to be reinvested back into grassroots through our inclusive programming, through trying to make football cheaper for families as well. So we're really excited to look and for Football West to finally have a home here in the West. We've been a bit nomadic over the past few years, so that's going to be great. And obviously HBF Park is such a wonderful venue already, but to bring it up to FIFA standards, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done, but the surface is the envy of many stadiums across Australia and the world, and it's a lovely place to be on a balmy summer's evening watching the Perth Glory as well.
As we have seen them on many occasions play some terrific football. Tell me something though, Josh Parish, did you just get a sense that we got a scoop from Jamie Harnwell telling us that Chelsea and Manchester United might be coming and bringing young Cristiano Ronaldo down under?
I mean, I think it might have slipped out there, Jamie.
Whoa! that would be exciting though. But you've got to have the facilities to bring them. The new stadium that you guys have in Perth has just about every bit of kudos anyone can throw at a sporting venue. So you've got a number of special facilities, but this added stuff, the State Centre and of course the developments. What's capacity at the Perth Glory home ground?
I think it's around 24,000 at the moment. I believe that's being boosted up to around 30 for the Women's World Cup, and with the developments, which is fantastic. It's still got that boutique stadium feel, if you like. It doesn't feel like a huge arena, and you're still nice and close to the action. And obviously for the Perth Glory fans, you don't want to get away from the tradition of the shed and the noise that they generate as well. So we're looking forward to seeing what the plans are and enjoying what is a great venue very close to the city of Perth.
you touched on something very special. We've just watched the Euros and we're watching the early weeks of the EPL, the English Premier League. And the one thing that it's like chalk and cheese. No fans last year, fans and more fans this year. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, look, it makes the game. I was a frustrated figure watching the Premier League last year. I must admit, I'm a Manchester United fan, so that's part of it. But certainly with the generated crowd noise,
hang on. I should mention there's a young Manchester United fan over there too, Josh. Have you both recovered from the fact that CR7 is back?
It's huge, isn't it? It's fantastic. Growing up watching Ronaldo, Rooney, the Ferdinands, Vidiches of the Manchester United era. To see Ronaldo come back he is not the player he was at 30, but he is still a lot better than any other player in the world as well. So delighted to have him back in the red of Manchester.
Did I mention that he also scored another couple of goals this morning for Portugal, and he's now become the most prolific scorer of international goals in the world? That's not a bad effort for a guy who's going back to one of his old clubs. Nice to know that he still has this ability to get into key spots. He did miss a penalty, though, Jamie.
He can stay off the penalties. Rashford and Fernandes can have those ones. That's fine. But look, he is immaculate in his presentation and how he works on the game and keeps himself fit. So, a 2-year deal, we'll hopefully still see some great things out. And maybe he's the Cantona of the modern age and that catalyst towards another United Premier League title.
Speaking of exciting things, are you excited about the new television deal and what it means for the game down under?
Yeah, it's obviously great to be partnering with free-to-air as well as across those streaming services. We know that the A-League is a quality competition. I think it's denigrated in some circles very unfairly, in my mind. And by doing this, it's the opportunity for a new, fresh look at things that they've already started to do the right thing and get Simon Hill back on board, who is, without doubt in my mind, is one of the best football callers we've seen here on these shores as well. So from the outset, it looks good, and we know that they're going to do some strong promotions to bring the A-League right back into the minds of people here in WA and across Australia.
Peter Drury is the voice of the current EPL. Simon is the voice of Australian football and has been for the better part of a decade. And when he calls the game, and Josh and I, both agree, it brings a warmth and it brings a special texture. You get excited. You know why he's getting excited. You know that what he's telling you, is because he's done his homework. He's not an all-rounder. He's a specialist, and he loves the game. And you can hear it, and he brings it. And we're thrilled to bits. I think the other exciting thing for us is not only are we getting it both on free-to-air and also streaming, but we're getting a consistent delivery now. It'll be the A-League, through the APL, the W League, the Youth League, and of course, I want to talk to you about this, the FFA Cup.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it? All in one spot. It's a shame that we can't get all the competitions across the world on one platform. So I'm going to have about 4 different streaming ones to make sure I can watch everything. But to have Football Australia able to bring that all together to have that dedicated channel, and we know that there's going to be heavy investment come from Channel 10 and Paramount into football here in Australia, and it's exciting. It goes back towards the start of the A-League, and with Fox coming on board and the bit of the razzmatazz. I was lucky enough to be in a couple of TV adverts and the like that went on. So hopefully there's some better acting than I had, but looking forward to what's coming up.
Jamie, Josh has got some things to run past you. We'd like to know how are preparations going for the FFA Cup between you guys and some of the South Australian competition?
Yeah, it's going well. Both ECU and Florida are excited. They've obviously been disappointed they haven't been able to play these games. There's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes to try and make sure it happens. It's a couple of weeks after the season finish here in Western Australia, so they'll be working hard to keep themselves fit and perhaps a friendly game or two between them as well. But a great opportunity. Florida obviously have been there before. I think this is their 3rd occasion in the FFA Cup, and ECU as newcomers will be looking to try and make their stamp on the competition. And with ex-Perth Glory coach Kenny Lowe at their helm, you wouldn't count them out from doing that.
Well, it's an exciting couple of ties. I mean, that Florida Athena Adelaide United game is just mouthwatering. That's meant to be coming up at the end of this month. Are you optimistic that that game will be played on schedule?
I'm always optimistic. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. But no, look, well, we know what WA's record is like in terms of the borders. Hopefully South Australia can keep everything quiet there for a few more weeks, and we'll get that game going ahead. Obviously, the issue is going to be those New South Wales teams, the Victorian teams, and what happens with them in the future. So I'm glad I'm not in the FA competitions department at the moment, because must be an absolute headache in there right now.
I can imagine.
We might have to build a football pitch on the border, so we have some sort of neutral zone we can send both sets of players.
The Nullarbor. No one goes there.
It'll be like our Field of Dreams game, George.
Yeah, like the Twilight Zone. Jamie, I was just going to ask you, you've had a pretty much undisrupted season, except for a few short, sharp lockdowns. So have we seen some exciting young talent coming through that has thrilled you?
Yeah, we certainly have across both our NPL men's and women's competition. There's some fantastic young players in the women's. We've got our NTC program that, the likes of young Hannah Lowry, who starred for the young Matildas, Bella Wallhead, some real excitement there. In the men's competition, you can't go past Perth Soccer Club, who won, I think it's their fourth league title in 6 years or so. And young Jaden Gorman, I think he's only 18 or 19 years of age, has had an exceptional season and a breakthrough one. And there's big things expected of him as well. So some great football, some good young Perth Glory talent playing as well, and hopefully a chance for them to break into the senior squad this season.
Perth Soccer Club's success is just incredible. And, from everything from, the culture of the club and the recruitment and so forth, youth academy, but also I know their social media presence is fantastic as well. Is that something that, some of the NPL WA clubs can learn a bit from that example?
I think everyone is starting to learn. I think if you look maybe 2 years ago, there wasn't too many people at all, any of the clubs doing so. We're smaller states. We don't have the population of some of the bigger New South Wales and Victoria. We don't have pokies in our clubs as well, which is always an issue for funds and for money. But certainly our clubs are embracing social media. They understand the power that it has, especially with their own members, and the fact that all the games are now live streamed across our NPL competitions. We're seeing some great viewership numbers, so it really is changing that trend of used to rely on the newspaper or word of mouth. You've actually got to be out there and visible in front of people for them to turn up on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
There's a couple of WA boys in NPL Victoria before the season was suspended, of course, who've just absolutely been ripping up the competition. I don't know if you're familiar with either of them, but I'll throw a couple of names out as Stefan Valentini and Joe Knowles. I mean, it must be heartening to see not only the local products doing it in NPL WA, but also across the country.
Yeah, we've been really lucky to have that as a progression, if you like, between what we have in the A League. Certainly Joe Knowles, very well-known player, played for Perth Glory, scored goals for Perth Glory before moving on. And Valentini has been overseas, I think in Germany for a period of time. His dad was a big feature of a local club here, Balcatta Soccer Club. So certainly some strong ties to home. It'd be great to see them come back at some point. I think Joe Knowles in particular is loving his time in Melbourne, apart from the current situation, of course. But it's always a great challenge. I remember going over with Sorrento and playing the FFA Cup game against South Melbourne. It's just nice to go into those bigger stadiums and some clubs with some real history. And I think the WA boys really appreciate that.
Mate, we appreciate you coming on and making yourself available at short notice. The CFO, the Chief Football Officer at Football West, Jamie Harnwell, he's been terrific. And we wish you continued success for the remainder of the season. And we want you to come back and talk to us about what's happening over there, especially as the A-League starts to warm up and the W League season is almost ready to get underway.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Jamie. All the very best.
Cheers.
Great stuff, Jamie Harnwell. Another episode of Surfing, State of Our Football Nation, just about in the can. Josh, you've done incredibly well to get through that seamlessly. Once again, thank you for your contribution. Catch you next week.
Yeah, not just seamlessly, but also the day after my Pfizer vaccine, George. So I'm the eyelids are drooping a little bit. I'm not going to lie, but through no fault of the program.
Mate, you've done great. Thanks so very much.
Thanks, George.
You're listening to the State of Our Football Nation on FNR.